Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Billy Four Rocks. Man, they're good. So, it's been a while since I've last did a vid. The reason I'm doing this one is because the nights are drawing in. It's autumn time over in the UK here. The clocks are going back tomorrow. Apparently we're going to get a really quite severe cold spell coming up in a couple of weeks. So I want to review a heated jacket that I've owned for about a year. A Powerlet heated jacket. It's plugs directly into the bike, and it heats up the entire arms, your chest, your sort of torso region, and the back of the neck, where the cold gets in the worst. So what I'm going to do is do a couple of tests. I'm going to do a ambient temperature test as it is now, using this very expensive and very high-tech Kodak professional thermometer, which I borrowed from work, which I will return on Monday. But so at the moment, I mean, it's quite, even though it's autumn heading into winter, it's quite mild. It's not exactly cold, but it's 17 degrees at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride around and take a temperature test with this next to my chest where the wind hits it. That'll give me a reading of what it's like without the jacket on, just the standard, just this thing on and a t-shirt underneath. Then I'm going to do the same ride with the jacket on, full blast, just to show you the difference in temperature. I mean, I won't need it for today because it's not, I mean, it'll get a bit chilly later, but at the moment it's okay. So let me show you the jacket. It's got wires that come out the sleeves that you can plug into the gloves, which I also have here as well. So let me show you the jacket now. This is it. It's made by Powerlet, and it's actually really well made. It's got a fleece lining in the collar here, which obviously helps retain the heat. I mean, to be honest, it does a good enough job retaining the heat without it turned on. But you know what it's like if you're riding, especially if you do a lot of motorway miles, and once the cold gets in, it gets really dangerous, because your body, what it wants to do is keep the core of your body warm. That's where all the vital organs are. It doesn't care about your fingers. They'll be the first things to drop off, but your body wants to look after its core, so your kidneys, your livers and all that sort of stuff. So if your core is kept warm and insulated, then your body can look after the rest of the bits, like your fingertips and your face and your neck and all that sort of stuff. So what this does, it's got a connection which is in a little pocket, which is just at the bottom of the jacket by the zip. You unzip that, and you've got this red plug. It's just a standard, I think it's a 9mm plug, I'm not too sure, but that plugs directly into the wire, which is attached directly into the battery on the bike, which has got a fuse in line. I'll show you that in a sec actually. So that goes directly into the bike. Now inside here also you will see this transmitter. Now what this does is it picks up the signal from the controller, wherever that might be. You could stick it in your pocket, or you can attach it to the bike like what I've done, which I'll also show you in a sec. This picks up the signal from the controller to tell you how hot you want your jacket and if you want to turn it off. So it's all done wirelessly. The only connected thing is this to the bike itself, to the power source, and then the actual controls to gauge the temperature are wherever you like. I put mine on top of the brake cylinder on top, so it's close at hand. So all that goes in there. Now when you buy this jacket initially, you have to pair up the receiver to the controller, which is easy. It's just a couple of twists of the button and it flashes and you're ready to go. So that's that side. At the front you've got a massive pocket. I mean, it's huge, it's big, and inside that pocket you've also got a smaller pocket. I suppose you could put your phone in there or your sunglasses. It's one of those handy things where it's close at hand, so if you need like to make a phone call, you don't have to go through your bag and all that sort of nonsense. So that's the fleece collar, like I said before. Now the actual wiring part of it, it's actually, you can just about feel it inside the fabric. It is really, really thin. You can actually, if you open up the back, actually down at the bottom, at the very back, you have a stuff bag where you can tuck the whole jacket back into, so it ends up about this big. So, and inside there you can actually make out between these white stitches, I doubt you'll pick it up on the camera, but there's a tiny little line, tiny little thin wire, and that is the heating element. And that heating element runs all the way up the back. So it goes all the way from the bottom to the top, all the way down the sleeves, all the way down the front of the jacket as well. Obviously that's the most important bit, that's your chest. That's the first bit that gets hit, especially if you've got a bike, like a naked bike with no screen, which I've owned before in the past, and when it gets cold your chest just acts like a wind sail and it just catches everything. So that's very important. So that they've really concentrated on this kind of front area. It's got stretch panels, stretch seams on the side there, which come in handy. I mean, this isn't a jacket. I suppose you could put it over a leather jacket if you've got like a race jacket, but I tend to put this underneath my touring jacket, or underneath something like this, because it's quite small, it's quite thin, it's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's not too heavy going. So that's that. Now at the end of the sleeves, see these tiny zips, undo those. So what I want to do is I want to show you this jacket in sort of fine detail. So I've seen a lot of reviews where they just kind of go, yeah, here's the jacket, it gets hot when you plug it in, it feels great. But I just want to show you how it does it, and you know, all the little bits and bobs. So at the bottom of the sleeves, on each hand, you've got this little tiny pocket. Inside here is the plug for the gloves. So you plug these directly into the gloves, and the controller for the gloves is also a separate knob for that, and that controls the heat for the gloves. So you can have your gloves turned up warm and your coat turned down off, or warm as well. You can have either. So that's really cool because it doesn't flap about or anything, and when you're done with it you just stick it back in there and that's it, you're done. So that's the jacket. What I'm going to do, see, the one thing that, because I'm quite tall, I tend to get stuff which is XL or XXL. I bought this in XL. Now I'm going to put it on now, and you're going to see how short it comes up on me. It looks like a bloody boob tube from the 80s or something. So I'll put this on. If you're going to buy it, I mean, depending on how tall or short you are, I would go for a bigger size than what you normally do, because even though it fits nice around the chest and the sleeves are a good length, you've got to be wary of the actual length of the coat itself. So I'll put it on, you can see what I mean. Now let me stand back a bit so you can see it. You see what I'm saying? It's okay, it's not bad, but it's definitely too short. I usually have stuff which is about to here, but I really need it, you know, down to there would be ideal, I know it's supposed to go underneath your jacket and everything, but I don't know, it's a little bit too short. But if that said, it's comfortable. You can see the stretch panels at the back there doing their job. You can't really make out, you can make out the wires just a little bit at the top there. It's not too bad. The collar's really nice, fits really snug, it's got a nice fleece lining in there, and it looks okay. It's not, it doesn't scream out heated jacket, you know what I mean? So it's you can't see the filament. So what I was saying before, all of this area is heated, so your core gets looked after, your chest gets looked after, all along the back and the front of your arms is heated, both arms, and all the way up the back right to the top there. You can actually see the wires if I stretch it like that a little bit, but you can't feel it when you're riding. You can't feel the wires or anything. So that's the jacket itself. It's very comfy, it looks quite nice. I'm going to show you I'll show you the plug on the bike, how it's all wired up. Then I'm going to show you the controller, how that works, and then we'll do we'll take the bike out for a spin without this on, and we'll do the temperature without it. Then we'll go out with it on, do the same route. I want to do a route which is it's quite, there's different levels of it. You've got like an open road, so you're going to do some high speed. I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit darker so it gets colder, so it gives a true representation of how good this jacket is and the differences in temperature you can get from it. So let's go outside and have a look at the bike. Okay, so here we have the bike, here's the seat, and here is the wire which plugs directly into the jacket. This is the only connection between the jacket and the bike, and this wire wires directly onto the battery, and in line is a fuse, so if anything goes wrong that fuse will blow and you'll be okay. So it couldn't be simpler. It's just a long wire. I mean, this actually, you could stretch this wire right up to the handlebars if you needed it, but because this is the closest point to the jacket, I thought, you know, just leave it hanging there, it's fine. You can even tuck it in summertime if you're not using it. It just goes under there like that. But we want it out because we're using it. So yes, it couldn't be simpler. Bolts directly onto the existing bolts that are on the battery. Simple as that. So if I sit on the bike, you see at the bottom of my jacket, there's the jacket lead. It's just a case of going up like that, plugging it in, and you're done. Now what you might do, which is what I've done loads of times, is you'll get off the bike with it still plugged in, but because this is quite tight and it's coiled up tight inside under the seat, once you get off it just pulls apart anyway, so it doesn't matter if you get off the bike and forget it, it will come apart easy. So that's that. So I shall leave that loose for the time being. Okay, here's the controller. Now remember, this is a wireless system, so this talks directly to the receiver in your jacket. Let's get it in focus. So you see it's as big as the actual brake cylinder that it's sitting on, which is quite handy because it kind of fits quite flush, it looks quite neat. I've put double-sided Velcro underneath, but also you can see I've put a cable tie all the way around it as well, just in case any thieves want to try and make off of it. It's on there solid. Right, so you've got the left one here, which is for the gloves. Now the good thing about this system is obviously there's a battery in there, but the only time the battery is used is when you make an adjustment. The light goes on, then it goes off. When it goes off, that means it's sent the signal to your receiver to change the temperature of the gloves in this case. So that's off, it clicks off, and then that is full power, that's full heat. So you see the light go off there. Okay, so we'll turn that off, and it's the same on the jacket side. That's off, that's the signal being sent to the receiver, and again if you want a little bit hotter, signal is sent to the receiver, jacket gets hotter, or you can have it full blast, signal is sent, then it's off. So this battery, even you're only going to use it when it's cold, really cold, so this will last for years, I would have thought. And it's completely watertight. It's got an O-ring around the bottom, which obviously makes it waterproof. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is obviously the cover of this is exposed, but it does come with a little strap which comes out and buttons into the end there to keep it watertight. Mine's fallen off, I don't know where it is, but it's been missing. I lost it about the first few weeks that I had it, so that's that. But I'm going to show you also underneath the seat, just so you know what it's like. Okay, so remember, this is what comes with the actual jacket itself. That's how much wire you get to play with. Okay, I'd say stretched out there's probably, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 feet length of wire there, so there's loads to play about with. All I've done is I've just cable tied it, bunched it up, cable tied it to keep it secure and out of the way. That cap there is where the inline fuse is kept. I just stuff that down the side, out of the way, safe, no problem. And the actual, this cable, that's the main line battery cable there. This is the Powerlet jacket cable, so it just bolts directly onto the existing nut onto the cable. It couldn't be simpler. And that's the bit I just leave flapping out the side there. Okay, whilst we're waiting for the sun to go down and the temperature to drop a little bit, I want to show you the gloves that I also link up to this jacket. Now the gloves, they're not made by Powerlet. I'll show you them in a sec. Let me put this away. So they're actually made by a company called Gerbings. Gerbings do heated jackets, and apparently they're quite good. But the reason I got the Powerlet one is I've read a few reviews on it, looked at a few YouTube videos, and then it was the highest heat rated jacket you could buy. It may have changed now, but I mean, when this thing is churning out full heat, I have to turn it down a little bit. It gets really warm, and that's when it's really cold outside. So that shows you how hot this thing gets. It's not uncomfortable, but it gets a little bit kind of, you know, stuffy. So even though it's a different make from Powerlet, the wired connections are still the same. It's still the same size, so you know, you don't have to get Powerlet gloves with your Powerlet jacket and your bloody Powerlet trousers or whatever. So here they are. I bought these at the bike show. They still do these, by the way. You can get them from the website or on eBay. There's a couple of companies that do heated stuff. I can't remember I think Klim do some. I can't remember the name of the other one, but these are good enough for me easily. So you've got the armoured knuckles there, and they're quite thick. They're proper winter gloves. You've got the armour on the fingers as well. You can see that there. And in the top, that's where the wire is kept to hook up to your jacket. So it's freezing cold. You've got a long haul motorway to do, 500 miles. It's bloody, you know, it's 2 degrees outside. You want to get home. Now the thing with these is it's quite tricky to get them on, because you've got one hand with the wire, and obviously you can't hold the wire with this hand because it's all the way here. So you have to get the one end in your hand like that, and then squeeze it, and then tuck it in, pull the zip down so nothing's flapping about, and that's your connection. So all you've got to do now is turn up the dial on the controller, which I've showed you, and these gloves will heat up within about 30 seconds so they're toasty and warm. So that's that. Now obviously you do the same with the other one. Stick that on. It gets fiddly because you've got to unzip it, and it's quite hard to get in with these fat fingers on. So if you're riding with a buddy, he can do that for you. So you're ready to go then. So let's take that one off. Now the thing is, if you've been riding for a couple of hours, you're going to need to fill up with petrol or go to the toilet or whatever. It's a bit of a pain joining these up, so you can either just let it hang and you can go about doing your business. Looks a bit weird. Or you can unplug it and put them away somewhere. But I just tend to, if I'm filling up with petrol, take it off, let it hang, do what you got to do, and you're back on the road again. And it's all, you know, nothing's flapping around and it looks quite solid. Okay, so you've seen the jacket, you've seen the gloves, you've seen the wiring, you've seen the controller, you've seen the receiver in the jacket. Let's wait till it gets a little bit darker and cooler, then we'll go out for a spin and we'll do the temperature check. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, I've been on about a 10-mile loop, which includes motorways and kind of like city roads. So I wanted to do high speed so you get an idea what it's really like when it's really getting cold. So I've got this down my top. The ambient temperature before I came out it's just hovering under 13 degrees. Coming back, I took my temperature and it was 8.5. So just the wind chill alone has brought it down to 8.5 degrees. So I'm going to go back out, do the same loop with the heated jacket on full blast, and then we'll see what that says. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, welcome back. Okay, so that was another 10 miles. Exact same route, but I've just come back to my my house now. So it was 8 degrees with an ambient temperature of 13 without the jacket. With the jacket on full blast, as hot as it can go, I got a highest temperature reading. And remember, this thing isn't touching my body. I don't want my body temperature to affect it. I just want the surrounding area to get an accurate reading. So it was 8 with the jacket on, as high as it will go. My highest temperature was 19. So there you go. That's a difference of 10 degrees, and I went from feeling chilly to comfortable. And it's not even a cold night tonight, so you'd obviously feel the benefit a lot more if it was a freezing cold night. So there you go. If you want to get a jacket, that's the difference in temperature you're looking at, roughly sort of 10 degrees. And if you've got like a thicker jacket over the top, obviously it'll be a little bit more. Alright, thanks for watching guys, take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Take care, adios!